11.2 Random samples and drawing inferences. So here, when we say drawing inferences, what we mean by that is that we are going to make predictions based on the data. So main idea here is to be able to use the data from random samples represented as dot plots, box and whisker plots, and proportions to make logical conclusions. Alright, so we are going to use dot plots first. So dot plots, as the name says, it's going to use dots. So the example says Rosie asked a random sample of students how many books they had in their backpacks. So she recorded the data as a list. So here's a list of books, I guess list of number of books that each student had. So we're going to make a dot plot. So here we are provided with a number line. So we're going to put dots over each of these numbers that are represented. So we have 2, 6, 1, 0, 4, another 1, another 4, 2, and 2. So here's our dot plot. Alright, so we're going to make some predictions, conclusions, and so on. So it says most of the students have at least how many books? At least how many books? So they have at least one book, right? They have at least, most students have at least one book. Okay, except for that one student who had 0 books. The most common number of books in any bag is, most common means like which number is represented the most. So in this case it would be 2. So 2 books. Number 3, most students have between blank and blank books in their bags. So we are going to say, so it's talking about like from the smallest to the highest. The smallest is 0 all the way to 6 books. So those are some of the conclusions that we can make based on the dot plot that's given to us. So dot plot is just to represent what numbers are being, representing the data, basically. Second type of plot is called box and whisker plot. So just as it says, box and whisker plot is going to look like something like this, like box and a whisker. Okay. Alright, so the number of pets owned by a random sample of students at Park Senior High School is shown as 920463325. What you're going to need to do first is list them in the order of least to greatest. So be 0, 2, 0, 2, there's another 2, and then 2 3s. There's a 4, 6, 5, and a 9. Should rewrite those. 6 and a 5. Okay. So I want you to know that a box and whisker plot is going to represent the medians of the data. Median, it means the middle number. So here, notice how there are 2 lines right here. Those are going to represent the middle of the middle. Okay. But we always gotta have somewhere to start. So each of these ends are going to represent smallest number and biggest number. So start there. So we have something at 0 and we have something at 9. Let's figure out where the middle is. So we're gonna go from each end and meet in the middle. It looks like 3 is my median of the list. So I'm going to place another line right there. And we are also going to need to find the median of this list. Okay, so what we're going to do is, sorry, I think I'm going to miss it. 5 and 6 needs to be the other way around, right? From 0 to 3, where's the middle? Middle is 2. We'll draw another line at 2. And between 4 and 9, the middle is 5 and 6. So between 5 and 6 is 5.5. So we're going to draw a line on top of 5.5. Okay, so now here's what we're going to do. We're going to draw a line that will connect these three lines and medians. Remember, let me show you again. This one right there is the middle of the lower end. This is the middle of the upper end. And the middle one is the middle of the middle, the median of the whole thing. Okay. Alright, so then we have to draw our whiskers from the smallest and then from the largest. Okay. So we're gonna now make a conclusion here. A good measure for the likely number of pets is, I can state the median, where the middle is, will be 3. 50% of the students have between blank and 3 pets. So between means like small to big numbers, so between 0 and 3 pets. So because 3 is a half point, they're talking about, so how many are in this lower group. And almost every student in parks has at least blank pet. So almost every student, so except for this student who's at 0, at least 2 pets. Okay. So dot plot uses dots, box and whisker uses box and whisker. And again, dot plot is simply putting dots on these numbers that are provided, and box and whisker is going to use the median of these numbers. Last but not least, let's answer this question here where it says use proportions. A shipment to a warehouse consists of 3,500 MP3 players. The manager chooses a random sample of 50 MP3 players and finds that 3 are defective. Defective means they're like broken. How many MP3 players in the shipment are likely to be defective? So instead of checking every single MP3 player, they just selected 50 MP3 players and found that 3 of those were broken. So here's my ratio. And I just want to know then, if that's the case, then out of 3,500, how many will be defective? Okay. So I'm going to solve for x to answer this question. What I would do is I'm going to find out how much needs to be multiplied to 50 to get 3,500. In my calculation, it would be 70. Then multiply by 70 on the top as well, do the same thing. Therefore, x is going to be 210 because 70 times 3 is 210. So that means out of 3,500, 210 MP3 players are likely to be defective. In other words, we're not saying it would definitely be 210 MP3 players. We're saying it's about 210 MP3 players. We're making predictions here. Okay. For those of you who don't know what MP3 player is, it's like pre-iPhone era where you are able to store some music or pictures and so on. Okay. All right, and that is the end of box and whisker, dot plot, and proportions notes.